I never thought the person who shared my womb would be the one to try and rip my entire world apart. My name is Elena, and for 28 years, I believed my twin sister Sophia and I were unbreakable. We came into this world together, tiny screaming, fingers intertwined according to the old photos Mom kept in that worn leather album with the cracked spine and the faded gold lettering that read, "Our Girls." People used to joke that we were two halves of the same soul. I believed them. God, how I believed them. Even now, after everything, part of me still wants to believe it, like some stubborn child refusing to let go of a favorite blanket. We grew up in a modest house on the edge of town, the kind with creaky wooden floors that announced every footstep, a backyard that smelled like jasmine in spring and damp earth after every rain. The paint on the shutters was always peeling just a little, no matter how many times Mom touched it up with whatever bargain bucket she could find at the hardware store. Inside, the walls were lined with family photos, us as babies in matching yellow onesies, us at 5 in identical birthday dresses, us at 10 with our arms slung around each other's shoulders like we were afraid the wind might blow one of us away. The kitchen smelled of cinnamon and coffee every morning, and the living room had that one worn-out couch with the floral pattern that had seen every important conversation we ever had. Mom was our anchor, our everything. Dad left when we were 7. Some vague story about finding himself that never quite added up. One morning he was there, kissing the tops of our heads before school, and by dinner he was gone, his side of the closet empty except for a single forgotten sock. Mom never badmouthed him in front of us. She'd just smile that tired, brave smile of hers and say, "Sometimes people lose their way, girls, but we're not going to lose ours." She worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table and lights on, days at the diner flipping pancakes and nights cleaning offices downtown. Her hands were always rough, the skin cracked from dishwater and bleach, but she never let us feel poor. I was the quiet one, the dreamer. While other kids ran wild at recess, I'd sit under the big oak tree behind the school with a notebook, sketching dresses late into the afternoon, flowing skirts with hidden pockets, blouses with delicate embroidery that told little stories in thread. Sophia was the fire, confident, loud, always the center of attention. She dreamed bigger, louder, fashion magazines spread across her bed, runway shows playing on our old TV, a life in the city where people knew her name. We balanced each other perfectly, or at least I thought we did. Even as kids, we had our rituals that felt sacred. Every Friday night, no matter how tired Mom was, she'd make popcorn in that dented aluminum pot on the stove. We'd pile onto her bed, the 3 of us under the same quilt she'd sewn herself from scraps of old dresses. Old movies would flicker on the tiny TV. Sophia would act out scenes dramatically, making us laugh until our sides hurt. And every time, Mom would whisper, "One day, you two will take care of each other when I'm gone. Promise me." We promised, every single time. We shared everything, clothes, secrets, even nightmares sometimes. Teachers mixed us up on purpose just to watch us laugh. Life was simple. Scraped knees, matching costumes, stolen cookies, and a belief that nothing could ever break what we had. Life moved on. We both went to community college, me in fashion design, Sophia in business. Money was tight, but we made it work with part-time jobs. I worked at a boutique downtown. Sophia waitressed at a cafe. We met after classes, split cheap pizza in the park, and talked about the future like it was something we were building together. Mom started getting sick around our 23rd birthday. At first it was fatigue, then hospital visits, then the word that changed everything. Cancer. Aggressive. She fought for 3 long years, and those were the hardest years of my life. I dropped most of my classes to take care of her, cooking, cleaning, holding her hand through chemo sessions that left her weaker each time, but still trying to smile. I sat beside her hospital bed, sketching designs for women like her. Soft clothing, easy access, comfort disguised as beauty. Sophia helped, sometimes. She'd come on weekends, always in a rush, always talking about work, always leaving early. I told myself it was fine. Someone had to earn money. Someone had to keep things running. That's what sisters did. They balanced each other. The night Mom passed, it was just me holding her hand. Her voice was barely there when she said, "Elena, take care of your light." Sophia arrived too late. We stood together in that sterile room, holding each other like we used to. I thought we were still unbreakable. After the funeral, the house felt both empty and sacred. Mom had left it behind. Old, slightly broken, but ours. I moved back in to sort through everything. Sophia visited often at first, talking about selling the house, starting fresh. I didn't want to hear it. This place was all that was left of her. But cracks started forming. At first, small things. Phone calls she took outside, questions about finances, conversations about selling that felt rehearsed. I ignored them. Grief makes you blind to what you don't want to see. Then she moved in temporarily. We cooked, we laughed, we cried over old photos. It felt like healing. Until it didn't. Arguments began. "The house is falling apart," she said. "We should sell." "It's our home," I said. "We can fix it." But she kept pushing. Bills, debt, reality. Her words became sharper each day. Then she brought papers. "There's over $120,000 in debt," she said calmly. "We should sell." I couldn't breathe properly. "This is Mom's house," I said. But Sophia just looked at me like I was naive. "Dreams don't fix leaky roofs, Elena." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't name it yet. 3 months after the funeral, she sat me down at the kitchen table. Same table where we grew up eating cereal. She said she had gone through the finances with the lawyer. The house was the only asset. We had to sell. I resisted. I told her I could work more, apply for grants, find a way. But she was already decided. Then the shift happened. She started bringing investors into the house, strangers walking through our memories like property, talking about flipping it, profiting. And she said something that stuck deeper than anything before. "I'm just making the hard decisions. You're too soft for this world." Then came the rainy Tuesday. I walked into the house and found her in Mom's study. Papers everywhere. The will in her hands. My heart dropped. "What are you doing?" She smiled, that familiar smile, but wrong now. "I've been thinking," she said. "You've always been the one Mom babied. I sacrificed more. I deserve more." "No," I said. "Mom said equal." Then she showed me another document, a different will. According to her, everything had been changed. She was entitled to the house. I had 24 hours to leave. The world didn't just crack, it shattered. I stood there staring at my own face in hers and didn't recognize her anymore. That night, I cried until I couldn't anymore. The house that once held my entire life now felt like a trap closing in. But in the silence before dawn, something shifted. Mom had given me a key before she died, a safe deposit box. "Only open it if you absolutely need to," she had said. I had forgotten it. Until now. And that was the moment everything changed. It started with small things. A week after the funeral, Sophia showed up with boxes, 4 large cardboard ones stacked in the back of her little city car, the kind you get for free at the liquor store. She hauled them into the front hallway with a bright, breathless laugh, wiping rain from her forehead. "Just moving some stuff in temporarily," she said, kicking off her boots on the mat Mom had braided herself years ago. "The apartment lease is up for renewal and the rent's jumping again. Figured it'd be nice to be home base for a bit while I sort things out. Twins together again, right? Healing and all that." I was thrilled at first. Really, truly thrilled. The house had felt so empty since Mom's last breath, every creak of the floorboards echoing like a ghost. Having Sophia there filled the rooms again. We cooked Mom's recipes side by side in the kitchen that first night. Her famous meatloaf that always came out a little too dry but tasted like Sunday dinners, the chocolate chip cookies we'd sneak raw dough from when we were kids. We cried over old photos spread across the living room floor, laughing through tears at the one where we both had chickenpox and looked like polka-dotted monsters. Evenings on the porch with glasses of cheap red wine from the corner store, watching the fireflies dance in the backyard the way they had every summer of our lives. For a few precious days, it felt like the old rituals had returned. Us against the world, just like Mom promised. But the arguments began soon after, creeping in like the first chill of autumn that makes you pull on a sweater you thought you wouldn't need yet. "Elena, this house is falling apart," she'd say on the third evening, sipping her wine and gesturing with the glass at the sagging porch roof where one shingle hung crooked like a loose tooth. "The roof leaks when it rains hard. Did you hear that drip in the hallway last night? The pipes groan like they're dying every time we run the faucet. The wiring is ancient. I smelled something burning when I plugged in my hair straightener. We should sell it now, while the market's decent, and get out before it becomes a money pit we can't escape. I'd shake my head, heart aching at the thought, fingers tracing the worn grain of the porch railing where Mom used to lean every morning with her coffee. It's our home, Soph. Mom raised us here. I want to fix it up, maybe turn the extra room, the one with the big window, into my design studio. Hang some shelves, paint the walls a soft cream color, fill it with mannequins and fabric bolts. I've already sketched a layout. It could be beautiful again. She'd roll her eyes, that familiar Sophia eye roll that used to make me giggle when we were teenagers, but now felt sharp as a paper cut, precise and dismissive. Always the sentimental one. Dreams don't pay bills, sis. Reality does. You can sketch all you want, but leaky roofs and six-figure debts don't care about your pretty pictures. Bills. That word kept coming up more and more, like a drumbeat in the background of every conversation, growing louder each time. Mom had some medical debt, sure. We both knew that from the hospital statements that arrived like unwelcome guests, but nothing catastrophic. Or so I believed. I had my part-time job at the boutique downtown, folding sweaters and helping women find the perfect outfit that made them stand a little taller, and I was applying for every design grant I could find online late into the night, my laptop glowing in the dark kitchen while Sophia scrolled her phone across the table, the blue light reflecting off her perfectly lined eyes. One evening, about 3 months after the funeral, October now, leaves turning gold outside and crunching underfoot when we walked to the mailbox, Sophia sat me down at the kitchen table with a stack of papers, the same table where we'd eaten cereal as kids, legs swinging, Mom humming at the stove. Her face was serious now, almost pitying, like she was about to deliver bad news to a child who still believed in magic. She'd printed everything out, highlighted in yellow and pink, organized with little tabs like she'd taken a weekend seminar on how to ruin your twin's life efficiently. Listen, Elena, I went through Mom's finances with the lawyer last week. There's more debt than we thought. Credit cards she took out for treatments, 3 different ones, maxed out, hospital bills piling up from the last round of chemo. It's over $120,000. The house is the only real asset we have. The mortgage is small, but once we factor in everything else... My stomach dropped like I'd missed the last step on the stairs, a sick freefall that left me gripping the edge of the table. The wood felt cold under my palms. But we can pay it off slowly. I have my job at the boutique, and the grants, I'm close on a couple of them. The fabric grant from the Arts Council, the small business starter one. We can make payments, keep the house. It's not like we're starving. Sophia leaned forward, her voice soft but firm, the way she used to talk me into sharing my toys when we were little, and she wanted the bigger half. Or we sell. Split what's left after debts. I already talked to a realtor on the phone yesterday. Nice guy, knows the market. We could each walk away with enough to start over properly. You with your little shop dreams, me with my business ideas. Fresh start, no anchors holding us back. Think about it. You could rent a cute studio space downtown, maybe even hire a part-time seamstress. No more worrying about pipes or roofs. I felt tears prick my eyes, hot and sudden, blurring the highlighted numbers on the papers. This is Mom's house, our childhood, the backyard where she taught us to plant flowers, the jasmine she put in with her own hands. How can you be so quick to let it go? It's like you're erasing her. She sighed dramatically, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear, the exact same gesture I made when I was frustrated, the mirror image of my own nervous tic. Because I'm being realistic. One of us has to be. You've always been the dreamer, Elena. I love that about you, but dreams don't fix leaky roofs or pay off 6-figure debts. I sacrificed my weekends in the city, my networking events, my shot at that promotion. While you were here playing nurse, I was keeping the lights on. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my old bedroom, the one we used to share until we turned 12 and Mom let us have separate spaces, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars still stuck to the ceiling from when we were 10. They'd faded a little over the years, just like everything else. Something felt off, a wrong note in the melody we'd always sung in perfect harmony. Sophia had always been ambitious, the one with the big plans and the louder laugh, but this cold calculation, it wasn't like her. Or was it? Had the city changed her, with its bright lights and people who only cared about what you could do for them? Had grief twisted something inside her, or had it always been there, hidden under the fire I used to admire? I replayed every conversation, every visit during Mom's illness, searching for the moment the shift happened. Was it when she started talking about investors for her latest side hustle? Or earlier, when she'd skip a hospital night because of work stuff that suddenly sounded more like excuses? The next few weeks were a blur of tension that thickened the air in the house like humidity before a storm you can feel in your bones. She started bringing over friends, potential investors, she called them, who walked through the house like it was already theirs, tapping walls with knuckles that sounded too loud, measuring windows with laser tools that beeped annoyingly, murmuring about open concept kitchens and modern fixtures that would maximize resale value. I'd overhear whispers from the hallway while I pretended to wash dishes. Flip it fast, nice profit in 6 months if we stage it right. The sister's cool with it, right? When I confronted her in the kitchen one afternoon, dish towels still twisted in my hands like a lifeline, she'd pull me into a hug, the kind that used to feel safe, and say, "I'm just looking out for us, Elena. You're too soft for this world. Someone has to make the hard calls. Mom would want us to be smart." Then came the day that shattered me completely, the moment the first real crack split our world in two and let all the light pour out. It was a rainy Tuesday, the kind where the sky hung low and gray, and the jasmine in the backyard drooped under the weight of the water, petals scattered like tiny broken promises on the grass. I came home early from the boutique. My boss had let me leave after a slow shift, sensing something in my face I couldn't hide, and found Sophia in Mom's old study, the room that still smelled like her books and the faint trace of her lavender perfume. She was going through drawers, papers scattered across the desk like fallen leaves, her back to the door. She didn't hear me at first over the rain drumming on the roof.
"What are you doing?" I asked, voice trembling like a leaf in the wind, my keys still clutched in my hand. She jumped, papers fluttering, then composed herself with that perfect practice smile that used to light up rooms but now looked painted on. "Just organizing for the estate, you know, getting things in order so we don't have to deal with it later. The lawyer said we should be thorough." But I saw the papers in her hand, the will. The original one we'd both seen at the lawyer's office months ago. The one that said everything splits equally, our mother's love divided fairly between her two girls, no favorites, no conditions. "Sophia, why do you have that? We already read it together." She stood up slowly, smoothing her shirt, eyes meeting mine in the dim light from the desk lamp that cast long shadows across her face. "Elena, we need to talk. I've been thinking. You've always been the one Mom babied, the one who stayed home, played nurse, got the extra hugs. I sacrificed my time in the city to help with bills while you were here every day. It's only fair I get the bigger share when we sell. I mean, I put my career on hold more than you know. Missed opportunities, turned down raises because I was driving back here every other weekend." My heart pounded so hard I could feel it in my throat. A wild bird trapped. Bigger share? Mom said everything splits equally. We read it together. You were there. You held my hand when the lawyer read it out loud. She laughed softly, almost sadly, like she was explaining something obvious to a child who still believed in fairy tales. "Did she? Let me show you something." She pulled out a document from the bottom of the stack. Not the will I remembered. Something else. Her eyes gleamed with a look I'd never seen before. Sharp and calculating. The fire I used to love now burning in a different direction. Mom updated it before she got really sick. She left the house, and most assets to me, with the understanding I'd take care of you. But honestly, with the debts, there's not much left anyway. I think it's best if you find your own place soon. I'll give you 2 weeks. Actually, let's say 24 hours to pack essentials. I need to get the house ready for listing. You can crash with friends or whatever, I'll even help with first month's rent somewhere cheap. There's a decent complex on the east side. 24 hours. My own twin sister was evicting me from the only home I had left, from Mom's house, with 24 hours' notice. The same sister who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms and whisper that nothing could ever come between us. Inner thoughts, voice breaks, vulnerable, raw. Music dips to a near silence, just the rain, and a single dissonant piano note hanging in the air like a question that has no answer. Add cut point 3. Suggestion. Natural pause after approximately 19 to 20 minutes slash approximately 2,900 words. Emotional peak with rain and music for final mid-roll or pre-climax ad. I stood there, staring at the mirror image of my own face, and saw a stranger wearing my features. Where was the girl who promised to take care of each other? The one who used to sneak me her dessert when I was sad after Dad left? The one who'd hold my hand during thunderstorms and whisper that we'd always face them together? How long had she been planning this? Had she been waiting for Mom to die, counting down the days until the house was hers to claim? The betrayal cut deeper than any knife because it came from my other half. The person who knew every secret, every fear, every dream I'd ever shared in the dark of our shared bedroom. She knew exactly where to twist. That night, I cried until there were no tears left. I sat on the edge of my bed, the same one from childhood with the quilt Mom had patched 100 times, surrounded by half-packed bags I didn't want to fill, and let the grief swallow me whole, helpless, broken. The rain outside matched the storm inside, thunder rumbling like it was angry on my behalf, shaking the windows the way my world was shaking. But in the quiet hours before dawn, something shifted inside me, a small, quiet spark of determination. I wasn't going to crumble, not yet, not like this. I remembered the safe deposit box key Mom had secretly given me weeks before she passed, pressing it into my palm during one of her clearer moments when the pain meds hadn't yet fogged her eyes. Only open it if you absolutely need to. My sweet girl, she'd whispered, her voice weak but steady as the old oak in the backyard. And read every page. Promise me you'll read every page. I'd forgotten about it in the fog of grief until now. Transition, suspenseful music rise, piano builds with urgency, rain intensifies slightly, thunder closer now. Voice gains a quiet steel beneath the vulnerability. Until everything changed. When I finally read the page my sister never bothered to see. The next morning, with my bags half packed and my heart still in jagged pieces on the bedroom floor, I didn't call friends for a couch or scroll apartment listings like Sophia expected. Instead, I drove straight to the bank, the safe deposit box key burning a hole in my coat pocket, like a secret Mom had planted there just for this moment. The drive felt endless. Every stoplight a chance to second guess, every familiar street corner whispering memories of Mom waving us off to school. But I kept going. The spark from the night before had grown into something steadier, a low flame that refused to be blown out. The bank lobby was quiet, fluorescent lights humming overhead. I signed the paperwork with hands that barely shook, then followed the teller into the vault. The box slid out with a soft metallic click. Inside, some of Mom's favorite jewelry, the thin gold necklace she wore to every parent-teacher night, a pair of pearl earrings Dad had given her before he left, old letters from him we never knew existed. And there, stapled to the last page of the original will, was the document that changed everything. A codicil, a detailed financial responsibility clause Mom had signed and notarized just 2 months before she died, when her handwriting was still strong and clear. My hands trembled as I unfolded it under the vault's soft light. In her elegant script and careful legal language, Mom had written, "To my daughter, Sophia, I have observed your growing detachment and choices over the past years. The late night calls you thought I couldn't hear, the way your visits grew shorter, even as my needs grew greater. If you choose to contest or alter the equal division of assets, or if you attempt to displace your sister Elena from the family home, you will assume full personal responsibility for all outstanding debts, medical, credit, and otherwise, incurred during my illness. This includes any liens placed on the property. Elena retains primary residency rights and equal asset share unless she voluntarily relinquishes them. This clause is non-negotiable and has been reviewed with my attorney." There was more. Bank statements showing Mom had secretly paid down nearly 40,000 of the debts using a small life insurance policy Sophia never knew about, and a private letter addressed only to me, folded in a sealed envelope with my name in Mom's handwriting. "Elena, my gentle one, if you're reading this, it means my fears came true. Sophia has always chased shine, but shine can blind a person to what really matters. You stayed. You held my hand when the nights were longest. Protect your heart, but don't let it harden completely. The house is yours to keep or share fairly, whatever feels right in your soul. Use this only if she forces your hand. I love you both, but I see you. I've always seen you. Now go see yourself the way I always did, strong, kind, and full of light. Love, Mom." Tears fell onto the paper, smudging the ink in tiny rivers. I sat there on the cold vault floor for what felt like hours, rereading every line until the words blurred together. Mom had known. She had watched the slow drift, the late excuses, the way Sophia's ambition had begun to eclipse everything else. And in her final months, while I was busy changing sheets and crushing pills, Mom had quietly built this shield for me. Not out of anger toward Sophia, but out of love for the daughter who never left. I didn't rush back, screaming or waving papers like some dramatic movie scene. That wasn't me. Instead, I made careful copies at the bank's printer, 3 sets just in case. I called Mom's old attorney, the one Sophia had conveniently forgotten to loop in fully after the funeral. His secretary recognized my voice immediately. "Elena, of course we can see you this afternoon. Your mother made sure we kept everything ready." When I returned to the house that evening, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Sophia was there with the realtor again, a slick-haired man in a too-tight suit, measuring rooms and talking loudly about modern updates and curb appeal. She saw my calm face and smirked, arms crossed. "Packed already? Good girl. I knew you'd understand eventually. The movers can come tomorrow if you need help with the heavy stuff." I looked at her, really looked. The same eyes, same smile, same dimple on the left cheek from when we were babies, but now it felt like staring at a mask that had slipped just enough to show the stranger underneath. "Sophia," I said quietly, voice steady for the first time in days. "We need to talk. Alone." The realtor sensed the shift and excused himself quickly, muttering something about checking comps on his phone. We sat at the kitchen table, the same scarred wooden one where we'd eaten cereal as kids, where Mom had made us promise to take care of each other. I slid the copied codicil across to her, the pages still warm from the printer. "Mom left a page you apparently never bothered to see. Or maybe you did and hoped I wouldn't find it." Her face went pale as she scanned the words. The confidence cracked like thin ice. She flipped pages frantically, eyes darting. This can't be real. She was on heavy medication those last months. It won't hold up in court. I'll fight it." The attorney already confirmed it will. I replied softly, sliding the attorney's letter beside it. And the debts? They're significant. Over 120,000 like you said. But according to this, if you push the eviction, if you try to force a sale against my will or claim more than your share, they become yours. All of them, personally. The house stays protected for equal division, with me having residency rights. No liens, no loopholes. Silence. Heavy, crushing silence that filled the kitchen like the rain had filled the backyard earlier. She laughed at first, a brittle, hollow sound that echoed off the walls. You're bluffing. You wouldn't do that to me. We're twins. Blood. You've never been the fighter, Elena. You're the soft one. I wouldn't have, I whispered, voice breaking with the weight of it all. The years of shared secrets, the promises under the quilt, the way we used to finish each other's sentences. But you gave me 24 hours to leave our mother's house. You looked me in the eye and tried to take everything while I was still grieving. You measured these rooms like they were already sold. So, yes, Sophia, I will, if you make me. Climactic emotional peak. Music surges, strings fierce and full, piano striking chords like heartbeats. Voice rises, raw and unfiltered. She argued. She cried. She slammed her fist on the table hard enough to rattle the salt shaker. She called me selfish, jealous, the favored one Mom always loved more. She even dragged up old childhood grievances I'd long forgotten. How I got the bigger bedroom when we turned 12. How Mom let me skip chores to sketch while she helped with dishes. You think you're so perfect because you played nurse? I was out there keeping us afloat. Her voice cracked, mascara running in black streaks down her cheeks that mirrored the ones I'd cried the night before. For a moment, I almost reached for her hand like we used to. Almost. But the papers didn't lie. The attorney's letter confirmed everything. Dates, signatures, Mom's clear intent. In the end, after 2 hours of shouting, tears, and one broken coffee mug that shattered across the floor like our trust, she had a choice. Honor the original equal split. Let me stay and co-manage the estate fairly, with debts handled responsibly from the remaining assets before any sale, or take on the full debt burden herself and risk losing even more in legal fees, court costs, and the house she now couldn't touch without my consent. She chose the first option, reluctantly, bitterly. Her shoulders slumped as she signed the acknowledgement the attorney had faxed over. This isn't over, she muttered, but we both knew it was. We sold nothing immediately. I kept the house as my home and studio, the extra room now filled with natural light, fabric bolts stacked neatly, mannequins wearing half-finished dresses that told stories of resilience. We divided the remaining assets cleanly. Jewelry split by the original will, savings split after debts. Sophia moved back to the city the following week, her car packed tighter than when she arrived. The shine in her eyes seemed duller now. The fire banked low. Word spread quietly in our small circles. Family friends, distant relatives, the ladies at the boutique who had known Mom. No one said it outright, but the invitations stopped coming her way as often. The golden twin had dimmed. Reflection, softer, wiser tone. Music eases into something warm and hopeful, piano gentle again. Months later, I sat on the porch where Mom used to drink her tea, watching the jasmine bloom again in full, fragrant waves that filled the evening air. The betrayal still stung on quiet nights when the house creaked in ways that reminded me of her footsteps. There were days I missed the sister I thought I had, the one who used to make me laugh until my sides hurt, who dreamed out loud while I sketched in silence. But I also found strength I never knew lived inside me. Strength Mom had seen all along. I opened my small boutique downtown 2 months after everything settled. It's modest, just a corner storefront with hand painted lettering and a window display of flowing dresses in soft colors. But the clothes I design carry stories of resilience. Women come in and tell me they feel beautiful, seen, strong enough to face whatever comes next. Every time a customer leaves with a bag and a brighter smile, I think of Mom. I think of the letter she left me. I think of the light she told me to protect. Sophia and I speak occasionally, polite, distant calls on birthdays and holidays. She never apologized, not really. Just a quick, "Hope you're doing okay," before hanging up. But I didn't need her to. My peace wasn't waiting for her words, it was waiting for me to choose it. I finally understood. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the promises kept in silence. Sometimes the strongest revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's refusing to let someone else's greed dim your light. It's building the life you were meant for, even when the person who was supposed to walk beside you tries to push you off the path. Mom taught us to take care of each other. In the end, I honored that by taking care of myself first. And that, more than any will or debt or house, is the real inheritance. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved deeply, especially family, know this: your story isn't over. The page they never read, it might just be the one that sets you free. The spark you feel in the darkest hour, that's your mother's voice, your own voice, telling you to keep going. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, please comment your thoughts below. What would you have done in my place? And subscribe for more emotional journeys of heartbreak, resilience, and quiet justice. Until next time, protect your light,